Do you live in the United States? Do you like to watch RT America? Well, bad news for you. The recent NDAA, that the National Defense Authorization Act, that was just shoved through Congress for $700 billion in war spending, which conveniently couldn't find funding for anything else, but somehow found it for war, has decided to slip in a little amendment that would make it legal to punish anyone who carried something that was associated with the Russian government in any way. In other words, there's a nice little amendment that would make it legal to shut down RT. This would mean that the freedom of speech rights that would exist for the Americans that actually work at the station, and the rights of Americans to hear RT if they choose to, don't really matter. Those could be taken down, and you don't put a clause like this into law unless you actually intend to use it. So the mainstream media narrative that we get, that RT frequently calls into question. Now, RT, you can make fair criticisms of the station, but one of the things that's very important about what RT does is that it questions U.S. foreign policy and exposes much of the hypocrisy and the crimes that are carried out by the U.S. government, particularly with regards to U.S. foreign policy. But that seems to be something that the government, or rather the mainstream corporate arena, otherwise known as the capitalist class, doesn't seem to want to be put out there at all. I mean, this is an act of censorship. Let's not try to pretend this is anything but it's amazing how afraid they are of truth. Now, this was shoved through by Senator Lindsey Lesbian Graham and John Insane in the Brain McCain. So. And we know them and their hawkish approach to U.S. foreign policy. That's invade and kill. That's, like, some people like to say drill, baby, drill. Some people like to say invade and kill. And I'm not saying they've actually said that, but that's really their philosophy. They very much are war hawks in that regard. But it's them who are particularly interested in putting their name on a piece of censorship that would block the American people from being able to see something that they have a right to. That is part of freedom of speech as well, that if you want to hear something, you should be able to. And now I know freedom of speech is a very complicated matter, but we're not talking about something that's like hate speech. We're talking about something that calls into question U.S. foreign policy, the kind of things that keeps tabs on power, not simply going out and spreading hate speech like the alt-right. This is actually one of those very real aspects of freedom of speech, keeping checks on the people in power who have the authority and the power to make serious decisions that have serious impact on your lives. So, once again, despite the claim to make America great again, depending on what your definition of great is, we see nothing more of the same old totalitarian, draconian war on terror, censorship, and kind of Cold War rhetoric and actions that we've seen in the past. So, far from America becoming great again, it seems to be going down the same path that's been going down since the war on terror, which began at 9/11. Thank you for watching. If you like this program, then please head over to my Patreon page and set up a monthly donation. It's your donations that keep this program running. Also, if you would like, please rate, comment, subscribe, and share in various social media.